Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be doing my left hand. As you can see, I've already done my right hand. If you haven't seen that video yet, you should definitely check it out. I will leave it linked down below. So back in January, I had a dream that I was doing my nails and I did this really cool like ocean aquarium nail set. So I wanted to do that in real life and like bring that nail set to life. So that's what I'm doing today. And as you can see, I've already done my prep and applied my tips. If you want to see how I do that, I do have a video of me showing how I do that. I will also leave that linked down below for you. To start off this nail set, I was trying to decide if I wanted to use this darker jelly blue or the lighter jelly blue for the ocean water look. I couldn't decide which I felt would be better for what I was thinking of doing. I did pull out these two nails that I did for a separate video that will be uploaded later to get a better idea of what the colors would look like, maybe like when I do this design. I ultimately did end up deciding to go with the lighter blue. I felt like it just fit with what I wanted to do better. So I'm just going in and applying one layer of that to all of my nails, and then I cure that for 60 seconds. So like I said, I've been planning this nail set since January, and I was trying to collect all the items that I needed so that I would have them in time for this. And that was really hard to do because nowhere really had any like summery, ocean, beachy themed like nail decorations because it was winter, so everywhere was focused on, you know, the winter months and winter themed nails. But I did eventually end up finding everything I needed and was fully prepared by the time it was time for me to do these. Now that I have the blue all applied, I'm going to take these stickers and decals that I got from Shop Kiki, and I'm going to apply them to my nails. So this first sheet that I was trying to pull like the coral and the seaweed off of, I didn't realize that this was one of the water decal sheets at first, so I'm sitting here struggling trying to pull that coral off. When I did finally realize that it was the water decal sheet, I tested it off camera first because I had never used water decals before, and I wasn't really 100% sure how to go about doing it. But after I figured it out, I am just now going in and cutting out all of the different pieces of coral and seaweed that I want on my nails. And then I got a bowl of water, and then I just took whichever one of the little pieces that I wanted to put on my nail and put that into the water, let it sit for a couple seconds, and then I was able to pull that off or slide it off of the sheet real easily and use my tweezers to place the this little seaweed here down. While the decal was still wet, I was able to still move it around and get it into place how I wanted. Once it dried though, you couldn't move it anymore. So I did have a little bit of time to adjust the decals and figure out how I wanted them placed. So these decals right here, you see me putting them on my ring finger, but once I got them placed down, while they were still wet, thankfully I realized I had put them on the wrong nail. They were supposed to go on my pinky nail because my ring and my middle finger are both going to be aquarium nails, and I didn't want the coral to be on them. So I was able to remove those off of my ring nail and place them onto my pinky nail, which you will see that they are on my pinky nail later on. So I did decide to do my thumb off camera just to see how it would look once I was done, and make sure that I liked the direction that I was going with what I was doing. I also added a couple more decals there on my pinky finger. And so the next step is to add another layer of the blue jelly polish on top of those decals to kind of create the illusion that they are farther back in the ocean and they're not right up close to you. I really just wanted to try and create that illusion that the nails are deeper than they really are, and really try to mimic what it would look like if you were underwater in the ocean. Yeah, I could have added more layers to it and it probably would have gave more of that effect, but I really liked how it looked with just the 2 layers there and not adding any more to it. But if you do recreate these and you want to add more layers to make them look deeper, then by all means go ahead. So now what I'm doing is just adding more stickers of different sea creatures and just kind of placing them randomly on the nail. I will say I didn't wipe the sticky layer off of the gel after I cured it, and it made the stickers harder to stick. They kept sliding all over. So if you do this, wipe that sticky layer off first and it'll help those stickers stick a whole lot better. It didn't have any effect on the water decals that I noticed, but it definitely did for the stickers. Now here I am just sealing them in with my base coat because I didn't want them to slide around anymore when I go in to encapsulate this nail. When I'm adding these stickers on, I am thinking about the depth and the layers and how I want them layered on the nail, and if I want them to look farther in the distance or more up close. If I want them farther in the distance, I put them down now before I apply another layer of the jelly polish, but if I want them to appear closer up, then I apply them after that second layer of the jelly polish. So you can see when I placed down this jellyfish sticker, some of the tentacles hang off the side of the nail. If any of the stickers had any pieces hanging off the edge of my nails, I just trimmed that off with my little scissors there. After I got all the stickers and the jelly polish all applied to my pinky and my pointer finger, I went ahead and encapsulated and built up my nails with my clear builder gel. I don't show that on camera. I really just wanted this video to be focused on the design and the aquarium nails that I'll be doing in a little bit. But if you do want to know how I apply my builder gel and build up my nails, I do have a video of that. I can also link that down below for anyone that wants to watch it. And when I was building up the nails, usually I try really hard to avoid air bubbles in my builder gel. But for this set in particular, since it is an ocean underwater themed nail, I wasn't worried about any of the little air bubbles because I felt like that would give it that more of that ocean underwater look that I was going for. For my middle and my ring fingers, instead of sealing the stickers in with base coat, since these are going to be the aquarium nails, I sealed them in with top coat. I didn't want that sticky layer on there and have that affect the items that were going to be inside and have them sticking to the base coat. And I'm not really sure if they even would stick to the base coat since there's going to be oil in there, but I didn't want to risk it. So now I'm going to be using these full cover square tips that I got off Amazon. I am trying to figure out if I should use the same size full cover tip as the half cover tip that I used, or if I should size down, because I've seen Lisette from Lisette Gel Nails. She leaves her full cover tips the same size instead of sizing down. And last time when I did aquarium nails back around Christmas time, I did size down, but I decided to use the same size just to see if that would make any kind of difference and make this a bit easier. And I'm going to be using my no wipe rhinestone glue to adhere them on. And for some reason, when I opened that, there was like chunks of partially cured gel in there, and I don't know how that happened because I haven't opened that rhinestone glue in a while now, and I've never left it under my curing light or anything, so I don't know what was going on there. I just scooped that out and used the little bit that was left to put around the edges of the nail. I went on both sides and up around the cuticle and left the free edge untouched, and then just placed that full cover tip right on top. I didn't push it down or mess with it too much, and then I cured that for 60 seconds, and I do that same step here on my ring finger. Now I'm just going back around and sealing in the sides and up at the cuticle area to make sure that everything is sealed in and I won't have any air bubbles or leaks, hopefully. And once I get that all sealed in, I do cure for 60 seconds and then I go on and do my middle finger. I don't show me doing that on camera, but I do the same thing that I do here on my ring finger. Also off camera, I go ahead and I file and shape all of my nails. I even file on my middle and ring fingers to clean up the lumpiness from sealing the tips on. So when it came to what I was going to put inside of the aquarium nails, I wasn't 100% sure, but I pulled out all of my gold charms with all the different seashells and the starfish that I could potentially use. I also got some of these like seashell pieces off of Temu. I got a few different colors of them. I got that one that's kind of like, it looked yellowish on camera, but it's more green in person. I got these blue ones, and I also got some white ones. I also got some of these seashell charms. I also got some mermaid charms off of Temu, and the mermaid charms were supposed to be gold, but when I got them, none of them were gold. They were like silver and bronze, so I did not use the mermaid charms. I pulled out this gold leaf. I wasn't sure if I was going to put a little bit of that in or not. I also have these iridescent flakes. I was thinking I could use the white ones or the blue ones to kind of give it like that shiny, sparkly water effect. And as you can see, these starfish right here are pretty curved, which is nice when you're putting them onto your nail as a decoration, but trying to put that into an aquarium nail doesn't really work. So I just took the back end of a nail art brush and just flattened them out so that it would be easier to get them into that small little crack there that you have to be able to put them into the nail. And for these seashell pieces, there were a lot of large pieces in there, but they were really easy to break apart. And that's just what I'm showing here, how easy it was to break them. So I just took one of the larger pieces, put it down, and then I took my cuticle pusher and just pressed it in, and it just broke into a bunch of smaller pieces, and I would just break it up until I got small enough pieces that would fit into the nail, but large enough to where you would actually be able to see them. And as you can see, I'm just gathering all of my charms and decorative pieces that I'm thinking of using and gathering them all right here on my mat so they were easy to pick up and place in, and I wasn't trying to dig them out of the containers or the packages that they came in. It would just be easier for me to pick up off my mat and then place them into the tanks there. And I know it's a little hard to see like me putting the items in, because I did file the tops of those full cover tips because I wanted to make sure that the top coat would stick when I go to top coat and it wouldn't like flake off or separate from the full cover tip, since gel doesn't really stick to smooth surfaces. So now I'm just filling the tanks that I've created with the charms and the shell pieces, and I added quite a bit of different items in here. I remember when I did the my aquarium nails back around Christmas, I didn't add much stuff because I was afraid of overcrowding the nail, but then once I was finished, it kind of just looked a little boring and empty, so I decided to add more this time so that it wasn't so empty looking and was a little more exciting and had more movement. I also decided to go ahead and add some of these iridescent flakes. I was trying to scoop them in with the cuticle pusher here at first. More of it was falling out onto my desk there. So then I ended up trying to pick them up with my tweezers and try and shove them into the nail that way. And now I'm going in with this cuticle oil that I got from Sally one time, and this blunt end syringe that I got off of Amazon. And I'm just going to fill that syringe up with the cuticle oil and then fill up the nail. But I forgot to hit record when I filled up my middle finger here, so you didn't see that there, but I do show me filling my ring finger to make up for that. And I already sealed up the free edge of the nail with my no wipe rhinestone glue because I didn't want that sticky layer from my builder gel. And here I'm showing, you can kind of see the items moving in there, and I have no air bubbles because the air bubbles get stuck on the items you have in there and makes it so they don't move. So I just prefer the no air bubbles. Everything moves a lot better and flows better. So here again, you're just seeing me fill up the tank with all of my decorative pieces. And you can see I add a lot of stuff into these nails. I tried to add only a couple of the gold charms and add more of the iridescent flakes and the seashells, but I added a lot. I just feel like the more stuff that's in there and the more movement you get, it just looks a lot better than when you add less stuff into them. And here you see me filling that side in again. When I was putting the stuff inside, I accidentally pulled it away from the bottom tip, so I'm just sealing it in again. And here I am filling in the nail with the cuticle oil, and as you can see, I do this pretty slowly. I do it this way so I can monitor and see if there's any leaks and to take care of that before I continue on. I also use this as an opportunity to make sure that I'm getting all of the air out and there are no more air bubbles inside of the nail. Sometimes you have to let the air rise and it'll work its way out, but if it's not, then you need to add more of the oil to get it all out. So once I have the tank completely filled, I take one of my lint-free wipes and just wipe away that excess oil that is dripping all down the sides of the nails, and to dry up any that is there on the free edge, so that way my gel will stick to that when I seal it, because if you don't clean that up, then your gel isn't going to stick, because the gel isn't going to stick to the oil. So you want to make sure everything is nice and dry, and I also wipe it away with some alcohol to make sure there's no any residual oil left, and to ensure that the gel will fully stick to the nail. I also take this time to double check that there's no leaks before I seal it in. I wipe away the nail with my alcohol and make sure that everything is completely dry and dehydrated, so if there are any leaks, I can easily visibly see them and see where it's coming from, because then that area will be wet from the oil. And once I see that there's no leaks anywhere, I can go ahead and seal in that free edge. So the way that I seal my aquarium tanks, I don't make the stopper separately and then glue it down. I just put the gel right onto that opening and close it up. I do glob it on like a lot and put a lot of extra just to make sure that everything is completely sealed in and there's no gaps or holes or anything that could cause a leak. And then I do file it off or file it down and clean it up after I cure it, which after I get this all on, I go in and I cure it for 60 seconds. And I am again using my no wipe rhinestone glue. That way there's not that sticky layer on the inside. So as you can see right here, I have a huge air bubble in my ring nail. I wasn't sure how I got that at first, because when I checked earlier, there was no leaks anywhere. But when I kept wiping it with my alcohol and drying it out and dehydrating the nail, I found out that it came from up at the free edge in the corner. There was a little hole there that was causing the leak. So to fix this, I took my e-file and this needle bit here, and I tried drilling into the free edge, but that wasn't working. So instead I drilled into the top of the nail and made a little hole so I can insert my syringe. I should also mention I did seal up that hole before I started adding any more oil. That way there wasn't any more leaking out. So I would just stick my syringe into that little hole that I drilled and squeeze in some of the cuticle oil to get that air bubble out. And I knew the air was coming out because you could see the little bubbles escaping through that little hole there where I have the syringe, and I could see the air bubble on the inside getting smaller and smaller. I would occasionally wipe off the nail to clean off all that extra oil that was getting everywhere. So because I had used the last of my no wipe rhinestone glue, I had to create a plug with my builder gel. So I'm applying that here. I'm putting some builder gel around the hole and then placing my plug on top, and then putting a little bit more builder gel on top of the plug to make sure that it was on there good and would stay in place and there would be no more holes. Cured that for 60 seconds and then filed it down so it was smooth and even with the rest of the nail. And now I'm just going in and top coating all of the nails. Once I get the top coat applied, I cure for 60 seconds. And I did top coat the underside of my nails. I just did that after I applied the tips. When I know I'm going to be doing a clear or a translucent set, I top coat the underside of my nails as soon as I get the tips on. That way I don't get any kind of dust or anything underneath. and I'm using my Cheeto cuticle oil again. I talked about it in my previous video, but I'm still unsure on the scent and if I really like it or not. I still think it's absolutely hilarious to have a hot Cheeto scented cuticle oil, but again, I'm not 100% sold on the scent. And here is the finished result. As you can see, I do still have a small bubble there in my ring finger. Not sure how I still ended up with a bubble, but I wasn't going to mess with it anymore. I didn't want to try and remove it, so I just let that be. But I am absolutely in love with these nails. I'm so happy with how they turned out. They came out way better than I had ever imagined them to look. I have been thinking about them and remembering that dream that I had every day leading up to me doing these, because I was so excited to do them and bring them to life, and they just came out way better than I was expecting. And I love the aquarium nails, and I love that I added the iridescent flakes to it. I feel like that really brought it all together and really gives that, you know, underwater ocean type feel with all those different reflex of the different pieces in there. And compared to my Christmas aquarium nails, these ones came out so much better. I did such a better job on these ones than I did on those Christmas ones. All the pieces move nicely, and there's a lot of pieces in there, so there's a lot of moving elements, and it just looks a whole lot better than the Christmas ones, which were kind of empty and a little bit of a fail. But that was also my first time doing it, and both these sets together look so good. I was worried about the two different designs. I'm personally not a fan of having two different designs on my hands. I can tolerate it if they're in like the same theme, which these are, being, you know, underwater ocean themes. But I thought because they were going to be such different designs and the color schemes are very different, I thought they would clash way more than they do, but I feel like they go really well together. And I also wanted to make sure that I show like how thick these aquarium nails actually are. They're not like super thick and bulky. They are a little bit thicker than what I would normally do, but it's not anything super extreme either. And don't let all these tutorials and videos of everyone doing aquarium nails fool you. They are not as easy as they look. They are very difficult and very time consuming. So just be aware that if you attempt these aquarium nails, it's probably going to be a bit of a hot mess, especially if it's your first time. Even though they're hard to do and it's really stressful to do them, the outcome is so worth it, in my opinion. So sometimes in these aquarium nails, the pieces will get stuck on each other and make it so they don't move. So to kind of get those to move, I just kind of shake my hand a bit to loosen them up and get them flowing again. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But overall, this set just turned out so good, and I'm so happy with it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.